What's up, creeps and fellow mask nerds? This is Jason, aka the Pope of Pain, and I'm here with this guy right over here, Riley, the rigor mortis. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about this guy right here. That's right. We're talking about Salem Ghoul, right?
Yeah.
Can I call him that? I mean, I know he's a Don Post, Ghoul. Wait,
Yeah.
what's a good title?
I call him Salem's Lot Ghoul.
How about that? Salem's
or the
Lot
Shark
Ghoul.
Tooth Ghoul.
The Shark Tooth Ghoul or whatever. But and this is... okay, you know what? I was going to go straight into this mask, but let me go a little history on Salem's Lot real quick for maybe new viewers, or most people probably like, we got it, But I want to talk about, of course, who directed it. One of my favorite directors of all time, Tobe Hooper, right?
The myth.
1979. This Salem's Lot was a miniseries. Like, I think a two-parter or something. I don't know. 1979. Can you imagine watching Salem's Lot in 79, dude, and just have no freaking clue what's going on? And all of a sudden, this thing would be badass. So, it's based on Stephen King's 1975 novel, and this was actually his first TV adaptation on this.
Right.
And basically, it's all around, you guys know, it's Kurt Barlow, the lead vampire, right?
The striker.
Yes. And I like what they did. I'd like to know, in King's mind, what was... Barlow's look, right? Because it kind of went to a very Nosferatu style monster.
In the novel depiction, he's like a clean cut old guy with white hair but extremely long fingers or something like that.
It makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Well, I love the way they went with Barlow, but we're not talking about Barlow today. Yeah. So, but this ghoul mask appeared in the movie.
Mark's bedroom.
Yes, in Mark's bedroom. And so, and if you know Riley, if it is in a freaking movie, well, obviously it's, a mask style that's in the movie, he's going to get it, right? So this has kind of been come out as the Salem's Lot Ghoul. And we'll get, like I said, we'll talk about the Don Post 800 line where everything kind of originated here
1967.
Yeah. Well, I was going to talk about it now, guys, and then I'm going to let they write to Riley. He'll say everything. But this was, like I said, eventually, or in the late 60s, right?
The first sculpt.
The Don Post, which everybody knows Don Post, obviously, introduced the 800 line, right? And 800 line, everybody's like, what's the 800? I believe, don't quote me on this, but I was told this was the wholesale price line for
people. So and they were
like
all
us.
Plastisol, which is like almost like a vinyl.
Yeah,
it can harden over time and whatnot. So that's why there's not many great examples of the OG 67 ghouls. And if they are, there's rips and cracks and whatnot. But really cool mask.
Definitely, man. And if those also 800 line may sound familiar, they had the Skull, Werewolf came out, the Mummy, Tor Johnson, Nosferatu. It had all the classics, right? In the 800 line. I would say probably one of the most famous lines.
And some of the longest produced vinyl masks of Don Post, Like we saw the Skull design and the Ghoul design all the way up into the late 70s, so.
Which is amazing. So, but this mask... Obviously, this is not an OG, but there's some special stuff around this that
we'll explain.
Yeah. So, without further ado, take it away, Mr. Riley. What are we looking at here?
So, our Salem's Lot Ghoul story actually starts up in 77 or 78.
Okay.
The original Salem's Lot Ghoul, the 67 800 line sculpt, was just an old bald man with a white eye. It was not very popular. It wasn't a great seller. No one really wanted to dress up as an old bald guy with a blind eye because, we all have that to look forward to.
I'm already there. Except the bald part, but an old guy. Yeah, no one wants to dress up as me.
And so the legendary sculptor, Bob Short, one of the best Don Post sculptors, actually went in, resculpted the character and made him, instead of being very docile, a very ferocious, sharp tooth, very angry expression.
I like that. I like the shark tooth.
A lot of wavier hair on this sculpt. Not as crude as the original. Made it more of a character,
Sure.
And it was used to actually fulfill the remaining orders. I actually call this like a phantom mask because this mask is so elusive because it was only used to fulfill remaining orders and it was never featured in any catalog. And so, fast forward to 1979, the TV series Salem's Lot aired. The character Mark has this mask in his bedroom. He's the kind of kid who has gags, model kits.
This is Riley in 1979.
If I was in the
born
70s,
back then,
I'd have a bowl cut, and whatnot. And he's got his ventriloquist dummies and all that. And some of his friends are over at his house looking at his masks, and this is a mask we see featured in the film. Now, the one featured in the film was slightly customized. It has a painted-on comb-over, as you can see.
I like it.
And the blind eye is actually cut out. And so They modified
and a lot of the original ghouls though weren't people cutting out that blind eye?
Yeah, a lot of people had a hard time seeing just through the one eye. So if you find copies that actually have the blind eye in place, it's kind of a rarity.
Yeah.
But so the mask generated a lot of popularity, and it was deemed the Salem's Lot ghoul because of its appearance in that film.
Yeah.
And a lot of people speculated the mask's actual production, maybe it was a prototype or something. But fast forward, I can't do math, probably 30, 40 years later,
a lot of years,
2019, a veteran collector named Joel Grossman, who actually obtained in the liquidation of Dawn Post the original metal vinyl mold of the Salem's Lot ghoul.
Yeah.
He approached the original Dawn Post employee couple, Rob and Kathy Tharp, and they had a 50-gallon drum of flesh vinyl, and they said, hey, want to do a reissue line of these?
I'm so glad you said that, too, because this is not latex. This is vinyl.
Oh, yeah,
right?
and it's vintage vinyl,
which makes
it even more special.
The same vinyl they used back in the Dawn Post era, which is crazy. They just found a 50-gallon drum.
How do you
just find it?
Yeah, right? I mean, probably part of the liquidation or something. Yeah. But it's interesting because this mask, in a weird way, is vintage because the liquid that was used to make it is 40 years old, you know? Yeah. So that's kind of cool to me. The only new thing really on there is his good old paint.
Yeah.
And so they reissued them. I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on this, guys. But I believe they made like 8 of each copy.
Wow.
And they made 4 variants. They had the original flesh paint scheme with the blind eye and the chrome dome.
Yeah.
They did the glow ghoul, which I actually have an original of. And I have a crazy, sentimental, cool story with that you guys can reference the original video we did on that like 2 or 3 years ago. You guys can watch that one. We'll probably put the link there.
It is actually, you were gifted.
It's the rarest mask I own was gifted to me by my uncle.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, check out. Well, I'll put a link to that Ghoul video so you guys can check it out.
So this mask is near and dear to my heart. And we went with the Salem's Lot variant as well, with the blind eye cut out and the comb over. And then Rob Tharp came up with a translucent glow vinyl one that is really cool. It's kind of like the ghost skull where the vinyl glow pigment is mixed in.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is just like a giant radiation ball head, it's neon green, so really cool variants. And they were very limited, 8 to 10 copies of each, I would say. Don't quote me on that. But made from vintage vinyl.
And I hope I'll take a video. I gotta show you guys how thick,
insanely thick.
This is a car tire.
I'd say it's the thickest vinyl mask I've ever seen.
We put it on a stand. It didn't need to be on a stand. I just did it for the angle.
Yeah.
But holy shit, this thing is amazing.
It stands on its own, like the sock under Jason's bed, so.
How'd you know?
Yeah, all right. Well, we're all special,
So, this is crazy. It's an amazing piece, man. And like I said, I'm a fan of the ghouls anyway. So
and Salem's Lot,
Yeah, and Salem's Lot.
Dawn Post history right here.
Yeah, 100%. So, okay. Let's talk. This is cut to the chase because this does not sound cheap at all.
Not at all.
It sounds like I have to sell a kidney, which I've already sold 2 of them.
Right.
So how many do I have? Anyway, all right. Yeah. But what did you end up paying for this guy?
So my great friend Hugo lives in LA.
Yeah.
Me and him are friends through Monsterpalooza and just mask collecting, and he's a good friend of mine. I saw he was selling one. I reached out to him. Of course, I got the homie hookup, because like Jason says, I do my cult back alley selling body parts on the black web deals,
Yeah.
And my friend Hugo struck me up a deal, but I would say after I saw one go up on eBay just this week, a glow one.
Yeah.
And it went for $825. So I've seen these ghouls go from $800 to $900, but the mass market is ever changing like the weather, so you never know.
800 to 900. I like this, and you're right. And it's all about what someone paid for it, right?
Exactly.
Because this you're not going to get. This is from the OG mold,
right?
And it's vinyl and it's painted up perfect
by original employees.
Yes, by original employees. Pretty good deal, I think.
It's the truest representation you can get. It's original mold, original vinyl, and painted by a Dawn Post employee. What more could you want?
I know. This is a killer piece of your collection.
Right.
Let me know you want to sell it. Okay.
Shout out Hugo.
Hugo, thank you, Hugo. Yeah, this is Hugo. Awesome. So, all right, guys. So there you go. The Salem's Lot Ghoul, and it's all glory. You ever see rigor mortis down the line somewhere? Tell them to show you this thing because it is freaking rad.